Hello out there in TV land.
Cheetah Girls.
Oh my gosh. Chris
Who?
Once upon a time, there used to be 22 episodes in season 3 of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. But if you let Disney Plus tell the story, no the hell it wasn't. I had to search high. I had to search low. Finally, I had to search my pockets if I didn't want the quality of the episode to look like it was filmed on a toaster strudel. But do y'all remember that time Chris Brown and the Cheetah Girls were on the same episode of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? Saying it out loud sounds like something little me would have made up in a fever dream, but no. This was real life. Let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Zack and Cody getting in trouble per usual. Now, while The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody was definitely a very iconic show to me when I was a child, it's honestly not something I have taken the time to revisit as an adult. Before watching this particular episode to prepare for this topic, I hadn't seen the show in years. So I'm running off pure memory right now, but one thing I do remember for sure is that Zack and Cody were bad as hell. They were menaces to society in their hotel and stayed on Mr. Mosby's nerves. That's something I could never forget. So them being in trouble for crashing a wedding is not surprising. Sounds like some shit they would do.
It's just that we saw they had those mini hot dogs we love and I'm weak. I need help.
This leads to them being grounded and told by their mother Carrie that they aren't allowed to leave a suite for a whole week before being sent off to their room. A room that is filled with all type of games and electronics, something Carrie later on realizes and then decides to put them boys on punishment in the living room.
Okay, apparently your room is too much fun. From now on, you're grounded in the living room.
Okay.
Now, as a child, Zack and Cody living out of a hotel definitely used to be the coolest thing ever to me. I thought they had the life, but now I'm realizing that the whole plot of the show only worked because it was a luxury hotel. Outside of that, Zack and Cody were mostly neglected by their parents. Their father was some kind of old rock star chasing his glory days and just wasn't around at all, but he did show up a few times. And I understand that Carrie was a single mom who worked too hard and loved their kids and would never stop, with gentle hands and the heart of a fighter.
I'm a survivor.
But in all reality, those boys were left unsupervised a lot. If the Tipton was a motel in a questionable neighborhood, with the way Zack and Cody were left to roam free, alone, damn near 24/7, I think Carrie would have been in jail. Anywho, then one of the most iconic characters to ever come out of Disney shows up, London freaking Tipton.
She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment.
Since I'm here, let me drop my top 5 right quick. Raven Baxter is number 1 for sure. I don't even need to think about it. Ain't nobody coming close in my opinion. Number 2, Miley Stewart. That's Hannah freaking Towner right there. Number 3, London Tipton. Number 4, Maddie Fitzpatrick. I won't lie, Maddie was my girl too. And last but not least, number 5, Alex Russo. Those girls raised me. I don't know where I would be without them. Anyways, let me get back on topic. London is here because this is around the time in the show where she had her own web series called Yay Me.
Yay me! Starring London Tipton!
Cody is the producer of that show, so London is here to pick him up for the next episode. Carrie lets her know that him and Zack are on punishment, but I'm sure that everyone remembers that phrases like you can't and the word no wasn't in London's everyday vocabulary. She thought the world revolved around her, and still to this day, I'm not sure that it actually did. She tells Cody in front of his mama that he is now officially off punishment, like she has the authority to do something like that.
So Cody, you're officially unpunished.
London, you can't do that. He's my son.
London says, oh, I get it. Then she tries to offer the lady some money for her child. Of course, Carrie turns the money down and sends London on her way.
You turned it down.
Hell no! I took that money!
Then Cody tries to explain to his mom the importance of him being there to produce Yay Me because the show is up for something he calls a golden nettie, some kind of internet award, but Carrie don't give a fuck. Cody continues trying to explain. He tells her that as they were getting chased by the bridesmaids of the wedding they crashed through the lobby, he noticed the Cheetah Girls were checking in.
Who?
And he plans on getting the Cheetah Girls to make an appearance on Yay Me being his big one. And you have to understand that the year was 2008. I was about 9 years old. The Cheetah Girls were a big ass deal to me, even after Raven was no longer with them, because Aqua had always been my favorite. Hell, sorry, not sorry, but I love the Cheetah Girls One World movie. I never had a problem with that movie. In fact, I enjoyed it a whole lot.
There's no place like us.
So I completely understand why Cody getting them on Yay Me at this particular time in history would be the craziest flex. He tells his mother that he could win the Golden Netty for producer of the year, but to get it he actually has to produce. But Carrie still don't give a fuck. She gears up to leave her children unattended again before telling them that she told the hotel staff to be on lookout if they try to leave the room. I wholeheartedly believe that keeping an eye out for her badass kids is not a part of those people's job description. Plus, if my memory serves me correctly, the only hotel staff member who ever really cared about anything they were doing was Mr. Mosby. Without him, they probably would have burned that hotel down because Lord knows Carrie was not paying as much attention as she needed to be to those boys. Anywho, then we cut over to London's suite where she has lured Maddie with the promise of putting that girl in her will.
I didn't really put you in my will. But on the phone you said that I lied.
Besides being smart, I do remember that Maddie's other character trait was that she was less fortunate, and London stayed playing in her face with that money and in my face too because me and Maddie were in the same boat. That's why my girl felt so relatable growing up. I was broke too. Anyways, London's reason for luring Maddie to her suite is to ask her to produce Yay Me since Cody is on punishment. She tells Maddie that if she produces a good segment that she could potentially win a Golden Netty. Maddie quickly agrees without any hesitation, saying that it would sound good on her college applications. I do recall my girl being all about her academics. Now Maddie is really feeling the ideal of that Golden Netty. She tells London that in order for them to win it, they're going to need someone famous who no one else has been able to get on their show. London suggests Bigfoot, and I was going to call her slow.
London, Bigfoot is a legend. That's why he'd make such a great guest.
But the way 2025 has been set up, my girl might have been on to something. Why wouldn't Bigfoot actually exist at this point? Anywho, then we jump back to Zack and Cody, where Cody is trying to figure out how he's going to get the Cheetah Girls on Yay Me without leaving their suite. It is etched in my memory that Cody was the rule follower, while on the other hand, Zack was the rule breaker.
Can't leave the suite. What a joke.
In so many words, he basically tells Cody that he don't give a fuck what they mama talking about because they can leave that suite and ain't nobody gonna touch them. Yeah, that's how that happened.
I'm in. I'm out. Now my right arm's in. And now my right arm's out.
He convinces Cody to take a risk for once in his life, and they leave the suite not really fearing the consequences because at the end of the day, all Carrie really gonna do is ground them and then proceed to leave them alone again. So then we jump to Maddie, who's trying to bribe a housekeeper with $20 because she heard that Chris Brown was at the Tipton and she wants to know which room he's in.
I'll give you $20.
I'm in this room. Thanks. Can I have some soap? Who?
Maddie and the housekeeper are shook by his presence. Now, based on the Chris Brown that we have today, one would think, what in the hell would that nigga be doing near a Disney or a channel? But remember, this is 2008 Chris Brown. Yes, I'm sure that many people remember that there was a time in American history where Chris Brown was for the kids. And I vividly remember this time because I was one of those kids. Yes, I went from 2005, the tender age of 6 years old, to it really doesn't matter how long being a Chris Brown fan, just know that I am delivered today.
I am delivered.
But as a 9-year-old girl, when this episode first hit the streets, I was nothing but excited. But now as an adult with some sense, I'm realizing that Chris Brown ever being here in the first place is questionable. This episode aired August of 2008, so this would still take you down, Chris Brown. This was still It Ain't My First Time, But Baby Girl, We Can't Pretend, Chris Brown. This was still Shirtless Grinding on the Platform, Chris Brown. And even before all of that, he came out the gate saying, "Mom, take a break, let me explain to you what your body got a young boy ready to do. If you take a chance and let me put them things on you, I can show you why I make them straight A's in school." So I guess I said all of that to say that even before the extremely understandable reason the episode got pulled out of rotation, why the hell would Chris Brown be up in the Tipton in the first place? I was a kid who loved Chris Brown down, and I know a lot of other kids did too, so I understand why they thought it was a good idea, but I'm realizing that even in 2007, that man's music reflected that he wasn't someone who needed to be guest starring on a show aimed at children.
Child. Anyway, so
You're
Feeling a draft. I'm gonna go inside.
After Maddie gets over her excitement, she asks Chris will he be a guest star on Yay Me, which he agrees to rather quickly, stating that he loves the show.
Starring London Tipton. Don't tell anybody I did that.
After securing Chris Brown for Yay Me, Maddie proceeds to dance down the hallway right past Zack and Cody, who are in search of the Cheetah Girls. And luckily for them, right in that exact moment, Mr. Mosby is showing them to their suite.
In honor, having the Cheetah Girls here at the Tipton.
Who?
Now, as a child, this didn't raise any eyebrows, but as I said, I am an adult now and I do see things differently. So for me, this is where the plot gets a little weird. The actresses that play the Cheetah Girls, Adrian, Keely, and Sabrina, were all over the age of 21. Zack and Cody were no more than 16 when this episode occurred. Keep that in mind. Zack and Cody go up to the Cheetah Girls suite pretending to be room service. Chanel comes out and says, "Who ordered 2 blonde boys?" in a flirtatious manner.
Yo, who ordered 2 blonde boys?
It's getting weird.
Then Aqua says that she ordered nachos. Zack says, "Feel free to cover me in cheese sauce." Then Dorinda comes out the door and says,
Well, they do look cute enough to eat.
It's getting weird.
Now, I understand that this is all supposed to be jokey, but these are still 2 teenage boys and 3 grown women at the time. Flip it and have this being 2 teenage girls and 3 grown men with the same interaction. Weird, right? Anywho, much like Maddie with Chris Brown, then Cody asks the Cheetah Girls if they want to be on Yay Me, which they agree to immediately because just like Mr. Brown, they love the show too.
Oh, I love that show!
London Tipton was truly just that girl. She was our favorite celebrity's favorite celebrity.
I'm your favorite athlete's favorite athlete.
Speaking of London, then she shows up, and before Cody can tell her about the Cheetah Girls, she tells him that Maddie took his spot and got Chris Brown, and she tells him that Maddie is a much better producer than him. So now Cody feels like he just got fired and that golden netty is slipping away from him. Then the next day arrives and it's showtime, but Maddie is having a problem because she can't find Chris Brown. London tells her that he's in the green room where all the guests wait before the show. The green room is her damn closet and she got that man stuffed in there.
Can I come on that?
Then we jump to Zack and Cody, who are waiting for Carrie to leave so Cody can go try to get his job back. But surprisingly, Carrie plans on watching her own children today. I am shocked.
You don't trust us.
Not since you started walking.
Zack comes up with a bright idea to sneak out through the vents and to keep from Carrie in her big ass bag of pretzels. Noticing their absence, he leaves a recording that sounds like they're in their room playing a card game on an endless loop.
Go fish. Do you have any jokers? Alright, take them out and let's start over.
Then we jump back to London Suite where the Yay Me show has started. And I just have to say that London Tipton would thrive so fucking much today as an influencer. A rich girl living in a luxury hotel. Oh, she would be getting all the bags and wouldn't even need them. Anyways, then London brings Chris out.
Hi, Chris. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And it dawns on me that there really was a point in time where Chris Brown genuinely seemed like an upstanding guy. Seeing him in this setting like this again does feel kind of strange. Damn.
Do you enjoy living in the vast forests of the Great Northwest?
I lived in a loft in New York.
London starts asking Chris questions and he's perplexed because they are the questions that were reserved for Bigfoot.
London, those are the questions for Bigfoot.
Bigfoot on the show.
Maddie assures Chris that they reserved the whole show just for him, but then the Cheetah Girls show up and walk in without knocking, so now we have a dilemma. Maddie turns to London and whispers, "You booked the Cheetah Girls and didn't tell me?" London says, "I guess I didn't tell myself either. Good thing my girl was rich." Chris Brown and the Cheetah Girls show excitement at seeing each other, and veering it from today, it's, I wouldn't say funny, but it's definitely something, because in Chris Brown's long history of cursing people out, I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 of them have been on the receiving end of it. I know for sure that me and Chris Brown are not on the same internet, so I don't believe for 1 second that he would see this or care to see it, but I'm still being selective with my words just out of the mere fear of being cursed out by that man. man. Anywho, meanwhile, Zack and Cody are still moving through the vents. They start talking about how they have been sneaking through those vents for years, and they are surprised that they haven't given in on them, especially now since they are a whole lot bigger. So of course, this is the exact moments that the vents do decide to give out on them, and conveniently they fall through the roof of London's suite. Then more weirdness transpires between the Cheetah Girls and the twins when Aqua helps Zack up and he tells her that she's his favorite.
By the way, you're my favorite.
She seems just a little too excited by the game that a teenage boy is spitting.
It's getting weird.
Then Maddie and Cody started going back and forth about who is going to get that golden netty and who is the better producer. During the midst of this, Zack then tells Chanel that she's his favorite, and Aqua seems just a little too let down by the game that a teenage boy is spitting.
You're my favorite.
He said I was his favorite.
It's getting weird.
Anywho, then Cody says that he's the better producer because he got 3 celebrity guests. Maddie says that she's the better producer because her guests can do the Uncle Jackie.
It's called Aunt Jackie.
Okay, not now, Chris.
Now, I know about the stanky leg, soldier boy, Cupid shuffle, walk it out, beef it up, wobble, chicken noodle soup, all that. But I don't recall shit about a Aunt Jackie. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I've never known anything about a Aunt Jackie. I guess I missed that one. Anyways, Lonnie suggests that they settle things with a dance-off.
You, do the Aunt Jackie. You, do something Cheetah-licious.
Chris says, why doesn't he just show them some of his dances?
Boy, if you don't get...
Then Chris tells everybody to join in. During the middle of this, Zack tells the runner that she's his favorite, and Aqua seems just a little too jealous over the game that a teenage boy is spitting.
It's getting weird.
Then we cut over to Carrie, who really sat her big ass there and ate that whole bag of pretzels without even checking for 1 second to see if those boys were actually in that room. I'm not saying that Carrie was a bad mother, but my girl looking real questionable right now. Then Mr. Mosby, who admits that he has been telling other people that Carrie is a bad mother, shows up to commend her on laying down the law, only for her to finally get up and realize that those boys are not in that room. Carrie puts 2 and 2 together when she remembers how bad Cody wanted to produce Yay Me. They pull up London's website and see those boys live and in color, hearing the Aunt Jackie with Chris Brown and the Cheetah Girls.
What do they think they're doing?
I believe that's the Aunt Jackie.
Then we jump back to Zack and Maddie, who are realizing that having the Cheetah Girls and Chris Brown on your show together is insane. So they agree that they both produced a good show and decide to share the golden netty if they win it. Then their little party is interrupted by Carrie showing up and gathering Zack and Cody by their edges in front of a live international audience. She tells them that she's sick and motherfucking tired of them ripping and running through that hotel like they ain't got no motherfucking sense. Or at least that's what I heard. Or at least that's what she should have said. Afterwards, she makes them and Mr. Mosby march out of the room. Then London wraps up her show by making everybody sing the London Tipton is Really Great song.
It's really great and deserves the opposite of hate, which is love.
Which is love.
Then the episode basically ends with us finding out that Maddie and Cody did win the golden netty, but it had nothing to do with Chris Brown or the Cheetah Girls. It was because of the way Carrie gathered Zack and Cody. Of course, after the horrendous crime that Chris Brown committed in 2009, this episode was snatched out of the rotation, and the Cheetah Girls just caught a scrape based on Chris Brown's actions. And I guess in 2019, when Disney Plus became a thing, Disney was still like, we don't want no ties to that man, so they never put it on the app. And if you want to find this episode, you have to buy it, and I spent $1.38 to do this video, so I never say this. Like, this is something I never say. Like, I never say this because I feel like if people want to do it, they gonna do it. But please like and subscribe, because I need my $1.38 back. Like, seriously. Even if Chris Brown wasn't in it, this episode was still weird. I was about to say, I hate to be one of those people over-analyzing some shit that happened back in the day, but that's literally the whole point of this channel. Me over-analyzing and just, you know, reading into things and just talking. But you gotta think about it like this. I understand what was going on between the Cheetah Girls and Zack and Cody was supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be funny. But you gotta think about it this way. If there was 3 grown men and 2 teenage girls, the shit would be weird. Like, imagine this. Imagine this was Dessa Raven, because I feel like the boys in motion were supposed to be grown. I feel like the boys in motion were supposed to be grown, and Raven was really into them, but they never made it weird. They never had Raven flirting with the boys in motion. They never had the boys in motion flirting with her. It was really like they had a friendship, and they was just cool. Imagine if the boys in motion, who were all over 21 in real life, and Raven and Chelsea were 16 in real life, like Zack and Cody were 16 in real life, and Keely, Adrian, and Sabrina were over 21 in real life. But flip it and imagine if the boys in motion were over 21 and Raven and Chelsea were 16, and they had the same interaction that Zack and Cody had with the Cheetah Girls. Wouldn't that be weird? I'm just understanding that this episode was just crazy all around, and I understand why it's in a vault. And you gotta come out your own pockets if you want to see it. Yeah, now I have this episode for the rest of my life, and I'm probably never gonna watch it again because it hurts my feelings and it ruins my childhood because, you know, 2008 and 2025, I know things now that I didn't know back then, and I can't even sit there and enjoy it for real. I was born in 1999. I cover a lot of stuff from the 90s, stuff that I wasn't even there for, so it's really no emotional connection to it for real. It's just that I grew up watching these things and I like them, so I talk about them. I was there for this, so it was hard to be reminded that this was actually something that happened, and nobody in this episode is who I thought they was as a child, which is perfectly fine. These people ain't gotta be who I made them out to be in my weird ass little child mind. Like I said, seeing Chris Brown in this setting, damn, I would never get on Beyonce's internet and act like Chris Brown wasn't the love of my life, because digital footprint is real, and I used to go hard behind that man, loud and proud and publicly. So I went from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and balloon years old, you know, being a part of Team Breezy Child. And like I said, I'm delivered. I'm not a Team Breezy anymore, but little 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old Destiny is still in there, and she's like, damn bitch, what did the world become? So I'm probably never going to watch this episode again. There's no reason to.